What's up, everyone? My name is Alan, founder and consultant at Fornow Marketing, and welcome back to Braze for Technical Marketers. Today, let's talk about how scheduled delivery campaigns work in Braze. Let's get started. All right, so here I am on my dashboard, and we're actually going to pick up from the campaign that we were creating in our last video. So here I have welcome new user open, and I'm going to actually edit the campaign so I can show us exactly what the scheduled delivery page looks like. And even though this entire page is called scheduled delivery, and I know in our thumbnail we said we're going to talk about scheduled delivery, we're going to actually talk about the actual delivery type scheduled as opposed to action-based and API triggered. We will go over those two in detail in a different video. Today we're going to just focus on scheduled. So a scheduled delivery is when a campaign has a fixed time, a set time, and is literally scheduled to send at a specific time. The documentation says campaigns sent using time-based scheduled delivery are delivered on specific days. And then there's also, so this page is helpful for everything related to scheduled delivery. And there's also some information on the time-based functionalities documentation page as well. So back to our dashboard, if you click scheduled, you will see three main options. The first one is send as soon as campaign is launched. And this one is pretty helpful. As soon as you click hit, you want the messages to go right away. There you have your option. It's very simple. There's no time required because it's as soon as you hit the button launch, it will send. It may be simple and straightforward, but many teams end up not going this route because they want to have a little bit of buffer room or maybe have some time to think after it's launched or get some time to make any changes, or we launch at the top of the hour or at 30 minutes or at 15 minutes. Those are very common times when emails and other campaigns send. Some teams strategically set it for at the 20 minutes, 40 minutes just to mix it up. Which leads us to our next option, send at a designated time. Choose a time for users to receive this message. So if you actually choose that option, you will see that the send frequency button, which didn't show up before, shows up. Then if you click the drop down, you may not be able to see the options, but there's actually send once, send daily, send weekly, and send monthly. So that tells you that there's actually recurring options as well. The recurring options can be very helpful for things that are regularly sending, or even the daily send has a lot of use cases in Braze where we attempt to send it daily, but only actually follow through if the user meets a certain criteria. That's the daily send often is being used for those use cases. Let's go back to once, and then we see your expected fields, like which date should we send it. So let's say today at what time. What time should we send it exactly? So let's say I want this campaign to send later in 25 minutes at 7 p.m. And you can actually see, it looks like our dashboard does not have a company time set up. But if your dashboard does have a company time zone set up, then you should be able to see the company time zone that it will send to. So by default, the time that you see on your dashboard will follow the company time zone. Let me see if I can set that up in settings real quick. So we do have our dashboard set to Pacific time. Typically, I've seen the time zone happen, but that's just that's the most important part to know. That is the company's set time zone. Now, I'm sure you did see this option to send campaign to users in their local time zone. So if you want every user, no matter where they are in the world, to get this message at 9 a.m. their time or 7 p.m. their local time, then you check this box off, and then it will work to deliver it at their local time at 7 p.m. There is actually quite a bit of information to cover for local time zone delivery, and you even see that users must remain in the targeted segment for a full 24 hours to ensure message delivery. So there's a lot to be covered there. A whole video can be dedicated for local time zone delivery, so we will go over that in much more detail in the future. And we actually even get a warning here. It says we cannot ensure delivery to users in all time zones on February 6th at 7 p.m. because that delivery time has already passed in some time zones. So it's very interesting, but the world spans many, many different time zones. I think something like, it's important to note that before you send any local time zone campaigns, that it's very possible that 7 p.m. has already passed in any time zones that are ahead of where you are located in the world. And especially if you're a global team with users living in Australia, Asia, North America, South America, Africa, Europe, your time zones could really be all over the place. So that's just something to keep in mind. Let's toggle over to daily. And once we change to daily, then we have the start time. What time will it send on a daily basis? But it also looks for how many days will it repeat. So is it going to repeat every day, or is it going to repeat every 2 days, every 5 days? So we have some recurrence options, all the way up to 30 is the maximum that we can repeat the maximum time we can repeat by. And then we have our starting date, and then we also have an ending parameter, so we can set it to never stop repeating. We can set it to stop repeating on a certain date. So maybe it's like a daily reminder until this holiday, for example. Or we can have it stop repeating after we've sent maybe 10 reminders every 20 days, for example. And then I believe we have similar options for weekly. So the cool thing about weekly is we can also set the recurrence. How many weeks should we repeat? So maybe every 2 weeks we send a reminder, but we also can choose the day of the week. So we can have it send on Sundays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays every 2 weeks. So the weekly option is cool. So we get this little weekly calendar view, and the same options for ending parameters. And then lastly, if we go to monthly, we get just the recurrence option and then the starting and the ending. I'm going to go ahead and uncheck the local time zone for now just to make the dashboard a little bit cleaner. And then lastly, we have the delivery control section down here at the bottom. So there's just two things to go over here. Delivery controls manage the number of messages your users will receive. So right now it's unchecked. Allow users to become re-eligible to receive campaign. There are certain campaigns that a user should only receive once in this campaign's lifetime. Very oftentimes, a welcome campaign or an onboarding campaign should only be received once by a user, because a user really only onboards to a program once. Or a birthday campaign that you only want to send to a user very first time, the very first birthday of their membership with you, then you maybe leave it unchecked. Many other reasons to leave this campaign unchecked. But something like a transactional message where you want the user to receive it every time they perform the triggering criteria, probably not a scheduled send, then you can actually check this off, and then you get this field. After how many days should we allow them to become re-eligible? So maybe this is something you can trigger very often. You don't want to bombard the user, so you just want to set it to 3 days. Maybe something like order confirmation that you should be eligible to receive constantly and instantly. That can be set to 0 days. 0 days, 0 minutes. The unit options we have are minutes, days, weeks, and months. And 0 minutes, 0 days are exactly the same things. So that doesn't really matter which unit you choose. I've also seen teams that want to add a little bit of a buffer. So if it's an action that can accidentally be double-clicked or spammed, and we don't want to actually send an email for every single click, so you want to add like a safety net, like a repeat safeguard. You can use a 1-minute re-eligibility control so that a user can only receive this email once per minute. That's an idea. And then frequency capping is another topic we can spend a whole video on. But in summary, it's how often should a user receive a message from your dashboard? And you can set that rule at a global level and then choose to have this campaign follow that rule or not. We don't have anything set up. That's why we don't see the option, but we will go over that in more detail in a future video. That's it for today. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.